Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to Embrace the Moon and your September 2017 reading. And I was sitting here tapping into Sagittarius energy, and let me tell you, I'm feeling quite singy. Like happiness. There's some happiness with Sagittarius. Enough to make you kind of sing, enough to make me sing. Ooh, but I am dropping cards like crazy, and some of that's just that energy. I feel like there's been a boost of energy, a boost of vibration. Again, singy, just woohoo. So let's see what I have for Sagittarius. I have a different type of reading for you this month. It's a little more general. I did that in hopes that I would not be so chatty. I don't think it's been quite that successful. I'm still very chatty. Still a lot of information despite fewer cards. So let's go ahead and, again, shuffle and see what we have for you. And let me just say before I move on, thank you for all of you who've been watching and keep returning and subscribe. I really, really appreciate it. So, Sagittarius, what do we have for you for this month? I guess I felt like happiness, but I feel like there's an anticipation. Like, please stay. Please tell me the happiness continues. That's what I'm getting. Like, please tell me that this happiness is going to continue. Like, I want the whole month to continue like this. So, let's see what we have for you. All right. Past. Present. Strength. Your focus for the month. Possible obstacle. And potential outcome for September. So let's put the obstacle up here for now, kind of out of the way, and let's begin here. And recent past. So something has happened in your recent past that you have felt like you could let go of. Something that you were attached to, and I feel like you couldn't let go of before. It took great strides for you to get to the point where you realized that. Whereas before you considered releasing this aspect or this concept, and I feel it was an idea, something that you were focused on mentally, a belief of some sort that you were really focused on. It took a lot, and it took great strides for you to get to the point where you felt like you could finally let go of that and not feel a loss. You really struggled with letting go of this concept before because you felt like you were losing in some way. Losing a belief of some sort, losing a part of yourself and some core concepts of who you felt defined who you are. But in some way or another, you had a really hard time letting go, because anytime you thought about letting go, you felt that you were going to be suffering some sort of loss as a result of it. But you got to a point where you realized that whatever this was, you can move on from it. And by being able to move on from it, you are going to be stronger as a result of it. So that's been your recent past. And because of it, your present energy is the Hierophant. And for some of you, it's current as in right now. For some of you, like by the time I post this video, it's going to be current. And then there will be others who it's going to be a little bit later, but I don't think you're going to discover my video until after you experience this. So it's still going to be current for you, even though the video is going to be old in a way. But anyhow, so the current energy is kind of tapping into some spiritual strengths. And for most of you, it's kind of tapping into your own inner spiritual strength, kind of tapping into that knowing that allows you to feel at peace in some way. And I feel that definitely that is very connected to that concept of recognizing that by not focusing on what you were losing or what you perceived that you were losing, you were able to walk away from it, and because you were able to get some gains, that opened up the doorway for you to be able to tap into some inner kind of spiritual awakening of sorts, not just spiritual, just, personal awakenings. It doesn't always have to be a spiritual awakening. Sometimes we can have a personal awakening that isn't necessarily some spiritual epiphany. I think sometimes we tag the concept of it being a spiritual epiphany because when you have any sort of inner awakening, you almost feel like it has to be connected to ourselves on a spiritual level. So be whatever it may, you're definitely tapping into some really hardcore, stable, internal beliefs and guidance. And I really do feel that this is mostly internal. It's not necessarily seeking anything from someone of a spiritual status that is guiding you in any way. You've kind of tapped into an inner guide in some way that you've awakened. And again, it's from recognizing that the loss that you perceived as being a great loss was actually allowing you to come to terms with that. It was allowing you to really tap into awakening this other part of yourself that's been waiting for you to tap into. Your strength for the month is Ace of Swords. So this chain of events that has been occurring or is occurring currently, like I said, it opened up the pathway. It opened up the doors for you to be able to tap into some inner guide that's been kind of awake or dormant or just waiting for you to finally open the door and allow it to come out and to give you the guidance that you've been not allowing yourself to tap into. And as a result of opening that door and awakening that inner beast, if you will, you are going to have a huge awakening on some level that's allowing you to really start a new chain of thought processes. Your perceptions, considerations, and therefore decision makings are going to be new. The way you go about things are going to be new. It's going to be new enough that people are going to recognize something's different about you. Something's changed. What's going on? What happened? But this opening that door and allowing that inner guide to really kind of come forth and rise to the surface and allow it to guide you is really going to guide your thoughts on a whole different path that you've never, well, I don't want to say you never considered, because I think that it's been dormant, so you kind of knew it was there, but you never really tapped into, and now you do. Now you tap into it, and you allow it to guide you. Your focus is going to be the end results. This new thought process is going to open up more doors for you to consider, more ideas, ideals, concepts, considerations, pathways. I don't know, just kind of opportunities. It's going to open up your mind to possibilities and plausibilities that you've never considered before. To the point I feel that you might feel kind of overwhelmed, like, oh, there's this, and then there's this, and this. Oh my gosh, there's so much. So you're being asked to focus on the end results. Whatever considerations that you have, especially if you're getting to the point where you're considering some very drastic changes, you need to be mindful that you don't allow that to make changes unnecessarily or before you should be making changes. So focus on the end results. Every contemplation, every consideration that you come across, you're being asked to focus in and zero in. All right, if I did this, X, Y, and Z would happen. And then contemplate what that would mean for you, so that you can consider if you really want to chase that down, if you really want to take that option, if you really want to go that route. Focus your thoughts so that you are moving in the direction that you definitely want to go. Just because you were given tons of opportunities and tons of new ideas, ideals, don't allow yourself to get so overwhelmed that you are just a buzz and flurry of activity that really gets nothing done. Allow these thoughts to guide you and open up your perception, but also find a way to focus them. And every decision that has the potential of you making, allow yourself to logically reason, if I do this, this is the end result. Do I want that? Do I want to go that route? Is that actually something that I want? Do I want it because it's available to me, or do I want it because I wholly and solely deep within myself want it? Focus, that's the key. Focus on the end results. The potential obstacle for the month is the Eight of Cups. And the obstacle is going to be not being able to let go. Again, and I already kind of said something along this line, so I don't remember my exact words, even though it was just a few minutes ago. But just because it's been presented to you doesn't mean you have to take it. Your obstacle, though, is going to be not able to let go. Like, once you kind of zero in on some of these ideas and the potentials and possibilities, even if you know what the end result isn't actually going to be in the best interest, or that another option will actually give you a better end result, there's a possibility of, for lack of a better term, kind of struggling with some false pride, so that you don't want to let go. Because it's been presented to you, you're going to feel, well, it's been presented, so obviously it's what I'm supposed to be doing. It wouldn't have been set before me if I wasn't supposed to take it. Well, you know, someone could bring in a whole dozen donuts. It doesn't mean you should eat them in 5 minutes. You got to be wise with these decisions. So just because it's been presented, focus on what the end results are going to be if you make that decision. And be wise about letting go and walking away from those that you realize that you don't really necessarily need, or that might be a good end result, but you can see that there's a better option out there for you. The obstacle is going to be you struggling with being able to walk away and letting go from choices that you see before you. If you are mindful of this process, you have the potential of ending September with options. Lots of options. Again, and I feel that some of this that I've been saying as far as the options and seeing the end results and knowing when to walk away from, this is all kind of going to occur almost simultaneous. Like, this is that new perception and seeing the plausibility and the possibilities is going to come, and it's not going to overwhelm you right away. Towards the end of September is when you're going to start feeling like you have a ton of options, and with that's going to come that need to focus and let go when you need to let go. But you have the potential of having options, lots of options, and feeling like you finally have options that you've been waiting your whole life to have. Kind of like you've been waiting for the moment where it was your turn. When's it my turn to get this? When's it my turn to have this? When's it my turn to be able to deny or say I don't need that? You're going to end the month of September of actually having your turn finally. And there's obviously there's going to be a feeling of it feeling good, because you've been waiting for this. So when it finally comes, it's going to feel good. Just be very mindful. This I don't feel is going to be the exact end of the month. This is going to kind of come towards the end of the month. And no matter how much you've been utilizing your skill of focusing and trying to know when you should be releasing, it's just going to keep coming. You know, the options and the choices that are going to be available to you are going to just continue to come all the way into before the end of the month and into including the end of the month of September. So the September is going to give you options by the end of the month. Just be mindful of how you perceive them and what you do with them. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a little card for you to kind of wrap this up and give you a mantra to kind of carry with you, maybe help you with the focus and release if you need it. Oh, look at that. I think that's a pretty plausible card that just fell out. So this actually fell out. Overthinking can spoil the magic. And yeah, this just kind of falls in line with what I was already saying regarding focusing and releasing. And I feel that it definitely goes in line with that. Like I said, just because it has been presented to you doesn't mean you have to take it. And that's where the overthinking comes in. Don't overthink it. Don't spoil the options and allowing it to overwhelm you because you give it too much more thought than you're supposed to. Just take it with ease, recognize what the end results are, and knowing when to release it so that you're not spoiling what's being given to you, this gift of inner knowledge that you've been able to tap into, this inner guide and the new perception that it has awakened you to. You don't want to taint this with overthinking and trying to absorb and control it all. Just zone in, focus on what the end results are, take the cups that are being presented to you that you know you should be taking, walk away the ones that aren't, and just live within the experience as it's happening so that you can enjoy the magic as it's happening. So that is all I have for you, Sagittarius, for the month of September. I hope it's a great month. Make it a great month. And hopefully I will see you in October.